All right. Minnesota Timberwolves fans, are you ready to enjoy the brand new season of the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder? Kevin Stanky is my guest here on Talkin Timberwolves. I'm your host, Garrett Gilbertson. Kevin, how are you doing? Did you enjoy the game? I heard you got to watch it from a really reliable internet source.
Yeah, we got to see the game on the Valley Sports app, and I got the gist of the game.
Yeah,
I got to see the W most of all,
you
though.
You witnessed the first of many wins this season, didn't you?
Yeah, especially coming out of the gate early. Timberwolves. I like the schedule. A lot of home games. A lot of teams like Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and Utah that we'll see early in the season here. And I think the team's going to need the little extra bit of runway to work with. It seems like, judging from tonight's game, they got the W against
Yes.
teams that are seemingly avoiding W's, but they pulled it out, and first half looked good doing it.
The
Second half,
first half looked really good doing it. The
the,
second half?
luckily they built up a good lead in the first half. Let's just say that.
Yes. So let's start with the beginning of the season. It was a fun first game to watch. Would have been cool if Chet Holmgren would have played in it and not hurt himself and is out for this year. It would have been a fun homecoming, right? But either way, hey, first game of the season, OKC comes in and the T-Wolves get Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns paired together for the first time of the season. And it was impressive. They started out the first quarter and were hot. Like there were two lob passes between Karl Anthony Towns and Gobert that were impressive. Like that's the type of thing that two centers playing together can develop and create. And this could be a fun season watching how you play with two 7-footers in a lineup that are as talented as those two.
Yeah.
It was a fun start to the game.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this team compared to last year's team, of course, Gobert is taking the place of Jared Vanderbilt, and the whole team is asked to go ahead and throw the shot on the line. You got a great
Yeah.
rebounder, Jared Vanderbilt, almost Rodman-esque in his offensive rebounding prowess, but Gobert, you put him in this situation, I don't know. I think he's going to maybe set some rebounding records this year because the whole team likes to shoot and he likes to rebound. So you
Mm-hmm.
put those two ingredients together. He's the biggest guy on the court. He's got the longest arms, and really no one compares to him in that regard. So why not just let him fly, boys?
Yeah, Gobert looked like a bigger, much. He took up far more space than I would say Jared Vanderbilt does on the court throughout this game tonight. I mean, he can set screens, he creates space or lanes for Anthony Edwards to run through, for Carl to pass to or through. He is a disruptor in the court because of his size, his wingspan, and he showed it tonight with his amount of rebounds. He had 16 rebounds tonight. I mean, he was the best player in the game tonight, and I was shocked by that. Honestly, I thought Carl would come out and kind of show that he could be the scoring punch, playing in the as a power forward for the first time in a very long time. But he didn't. It was the Rudy Gobert show, and it was fun to watch. And Carl seemed to be a part of it because he was passing, he was making plays even without shooting it as much as we're accustomed to.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of Karl Anthony Towns playing outside. Um, we saw it a few times in the third and fourth quarter when they got behind, where he was throwing up shots either behind a pick
Yeah.
or trying to get him open on the wing. on his own, and there was a lot of times he missed those shots, but Gobert was there to gobble up the boards. So I think we're going to see a lot more from the Timberwolves this season. We're going to see a lot more of Karl Anthony Towns on the wing on offense.
Hmm.
We saw Jay McDaniels very willingly. One thing I noted early on is seeing him shoot a corner three early on in the game, kind of unapologetically. He didn't make the shot, but that's the kind of confidence you want to see out of a player like uh, Jay McDaniels.
Oh yeah, McDaniel's played a great game tonight. I think he showed energy. Every single dunk attempt that Jaden McDaniels had tonight felt like he was throwing it down with authority, with some ferociousness. He slam dunked the basketball a number of times tonight. One time, elbowing another player in the face. I don't remember who it was, but he got him good with the elbow. But that's the type of player and mentality that he showed tonight that I'm super excited about seeing, because he brought some intensity tonight, not just on the defensive end, but offensive end. He's not afraid to shoot the three. He's not afraid to drive it to the basket or drive and dish. Like, he was involved. He maintained his position, and he didn't pick up any stupid or ticky tack fouls tonight that we had seen last year early in the season. So, yeah, I think he had a really good game to begin the first half for sure, but was really consistent when other players weren't in the second half of the game.
He was willing, I think, is the biggest thing you can say about him. I think towards the end of the game, he seemed to be on the free throw line quite a bit there at the end of the game, and
Mm-hmm.
even when making them, you were kind of, when he made some of those free throws, you're kind of like, is he gonna make that free throw? So McDaniels, I like him putting his biscuits on the line here tonight, and not having an A+ game, but still being a willing player out there, and you like to see that out of a young player like him.
The other player I want to highlight specifically on the first half, but really throughout the game, is Torian Prince. He played really good all night tonight, but in the first half of the game, in the second quarter specifically, he really made some big shots. He started out perfect from the game with 4 for 4, I think, with three threes. He was making corner baskets when they needed it, when he was open. Is my mic sounding all right to you?
No, I can hear you
Good.
perfectly loud and clear. And that's funny because, I didn't catch all of the first half. The second half, we didn't see much of Torian Prince. We saw mostly Kyle Anderson in his place.
Hmm.
We saw him quite a bit. So I think we're going to see those two players um, in a scrum for playing time here. And hopefully that turns out to be a positive thing, because if Torian Prince is making plays like we've seen him make the last
Oh,
year, um, and that we've seen him make in uniforms for other teams. I think that's a positive thing that we can draw on here.
I mean, Torian Prince tonight had an overall really good game. He had 11 points, 3 rebounds, uh, but it was the little things that don't really show up in the box score. I think he took 2 or 3 charges on the night. He played some good defense, and he made those corner threes when it counted. He 11 points. He only scored 2 or 3 more points throughout the rest of the game in the fourth quarter, but the first half he was hot, and he played some good minutes when it mattered and they needed to maintain, or he helped them build the lead in the second quarter. I guess I'm a little shocked he only had 11 points on the night, but
Well,
you
that's,
know,
we barely saw him in the second half.
yeah,
So
we didn't.
I wonder why we didn't see him after having such a good first half. What happened?
Well, I think you hit it on the point with Kyle Anderson. We saw Kyle Anderson a lot in the second half, fourth quarter specifically, and I think it's, Finch started him in the fourth quarter, uh, coming off the bench to maintain that veteran presence, I think. And he played very well in the game. I'm just impressed. It is nice to have a player like Kyle Anderson that can handle the ball, make the smart play or a good pass, or shoot the three. I'm not too worried like his shot isn't going to go in, as like if Nas Reed was out there shooting a three at that period of time, or somebody else playing a power forward role.
And speaking of Nas Reed, did he make an appearance tonight? I can't think
No,
of.
he didn't get any minutes tonight.
And that's too bad for him. Of course, he's in the contract year, and he's third deep on that center bench. And really, you've got two centers out there. You'd think you'd see him out there a little bit, but of course, so many teams, they don't demand that you have a punishing presence out there, especially a team like Oklahoma City, even if they have at Holmgren. We've got some pretty twiggy long boys out there.
No,
the Oklahoma City team.
The Oklahoma City team definitely didn't necessitate Nas Reed being out there for many minutes because they're not a big team, right? I mean, you
But
have
that's
Carl.
also a team that Nas Reed could exploit, because
Yes,
he's got the outside shot and he's very Poku-esque. And I think that he could have helped put this team away, but obviously what we're seeing is a deep team, because we haven't seen Bryn Forbes, I believe. I can't recall a time that we saw him out there. So you got to be feeling good about this team, even though it was kind of a up and down match. It was like maybe a little too up in the first quarter and a little too down in the second half. I meant to say first half, second half there, and I think next match, hopefully, the big thing is that the Towns Gobert duo, like they've it's got to take some time to acquiesce, and they've got some easy opponents to work it out with. So I think if they can work it out, if they can, I mean, looking at the schedule coming up to start the season, you could easily peg them as a 5-0 team, and seeing the Spurs game kind of maybe has a little hesitation about that, but this could be just the perfect runway for this team to take off on, because if they can work out their kinks on really these JV squads, then I think you can see a bright future for this team.
Yeah, I mean, coming up, they've got some pretty good matchups. The Jazz coming up, Oklahoma again, right on Sunday, and then it's Spurs, and Lakers, who they beat in the preseason. So, like, you take the wins when you can take them. Was this a clean game? No. Rudy Gobert's post conference press conference, he said, and I quote, "Tonight wasn't perfect." No, it wasn't perfect. It was the first game regular season that we got to see Rudy and Carl together, and what I saw of Carl passing to Rudy Gobert was awesome, and I'm looking forward to them working it out. D'Lo and Gobert missed on quite a few lob attempts tonight, where D'Lo passed it behind him or just wasn't where Gobert wanted it or expected it. That's going to change, and that's going to be a big difference to this offense. The offense was different tonight, didn't you agree? Watching the second half, when it was third quarter really sucked, but the fourth quarter, when we maintained the lead, we were running the offense that Finch wants us to be running, which is in the post, Carl Gobert touches it or Anthony Edwards is dribbling around with it. It looked a little different than last year, when you had players on the court like Vanderbilt, who you knew wasn't going to touch the ball or really shoot the ball. Everybody on the court is a threat now, and that's a big difference. Gobert was a stud in the post tonight, just moving around, creating space for others, creating his own shot, rebounding, driving to the basket. It was a fun, different form of basketball to watch. I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
Yeah, well, one thing we've been looking forward to this season with Gobert added to the team is the D'Angelo Russell, Rudy Gobert pick and roll.
Yeah.
We saw D'Angelo be very successful with that in Brooklyn with Jarrett Allen, and we didn't see too much of that tonight. So there's still some keys to unlock. There's still some things that we haven't seen from this team, and I think we got a good building block to go on here.
Yeah, I think D'Lo was played pretty good tonight, but for whatever reason, he missed a few opportunities with Gobert that would have been some good highlight reel alley oops, right? And those are going to come, but he still managed 20 points on the night. He was good in that mid range.
We saw some good volleyball plays out of him tonight. He did some sets, I think,
Did he?
towards when he's got some offensive rebounds, putbacks.
Right.
That's like, you're the biggest man on the court. You can do whatever you want, and that's what we saw from him a few times tonight. Like, I'm just the biggest guy out here. What else can you do about it? We also saw him miss some of those, but it's like he just gets them right back. He's like, just keep padding those offensive boards. Why not? Just keep setting it up to yourself, Rudy.
Right. No, Rudy, looked like the tallest man out there. He could get to any ball that he needed to and was able to elevate where other players can't. That's what is going to be super exciting about this year, because him and Carl together, no longer do you have to worry about Carl shooting a three out on the perimeter, because you got Rudy down in the box, right? I mean, he's going to be rebounding. He can get to any ball. It's going to be fun, different experience. So
Yeah, there was
yeah,
definitely at least a couple times out there we saw that exact scenario where everybody else goes back on defense. It might be three defensive jerseys down there versus just Rudy, and maybe he didn't get it, but like, he draws the whole team in to have to like force more than just he really brings them in there, so you can't just get the fast break on him either, because the whole team's back on D. So,
and when he chooses to run the floor on offense too, he had a couple fast break where he just ran to the basket and they didn't pick him up. Carl hit him with a really
did you
sweet
see that
pass.
play? The play where he deflected the inbound pass into the back court, and he just ran back and got that dunk in there. That was defensive player of the year right there. That's what you want to see out of a player like that. So that
No,
was first game of the year. So I'm hoping we see a lot more of that.
I am as well, man. That was a good overall game. Super excited. It kind of unfolded the way that I thought. I was happy to see Jalen Noel get a lot of run off the bench. He played really well all night. I think his defense could have been a little bit better, or not. It could have been. Uh, he was in the third quarter when we lost the lead, and that's because shots weren't dropping. But it's not because he wasn't afraid to take the shots, and he was open. It's just they weren't dropping a night for him as much as he would have liked. But he played 18 minutes. Hey, I'll take that from Jalen Noel to start the year.
And so, who you giving the start of the game to, Garrett?
The start of the game, oh, it's got to go to Rudy. I think he stood out the most tonight. He was the difference maker when he was on the court. He made a big difference on the way that the offense was able to operate, more so than I think Karl Anthony Towns did, and that's why I'd give him the game ball for the night.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Look at this team. It looked like Rudy Gobert was the guy who's been here for 5-6 years. Karl Anthony Towns looked like the new acquisition, and sometimes But we know he's coming in rusty, uh, having to deal with some illness. So let's hope that he turns into the star player that we know he can be. Because if that happens, same thing with Anthony Edwards. We got the W with minimal effort from those two players. So let's see maximal effort and some domination in the next few games here.
Yeah, what I liked from Towns tonight was the 7 assists that he had, and I think he had 5 in the first half or 4. But he made the right smart plays. Did you ever see Towns make a crazy over the shoulder pass over across court tonight like you did last year? No. He made the right plays and he made some good passes. I'm happy to see his assists up. The points will be there, the rebounds will be there. But when you have Gobert playing down low, his rebounds might not be as high as they were. A double double every night, is that going to happen? I would hope so.
They were saying that Rudy Gobert had 52 double doubles last year, and that was second in the league. I can only expect that he's gonna easily get 10 rebounds every night, and they're easily gonna turn into at least 5 points, 6 points,
Yeah.
put back boards. So I would expect to see a double double record out of Rudy Gobert this year.
I would think so. Here's one other question. We saw Jordan McLaughlin got a lot of the backup point guard minutes tonight, and he played pretty good. I think the points weren't there, but he maintained that nuisance role that he was good at in the playoffs last year. Uh, did you notice anything? What do you think of McLaughlin? Do you think he can handle the number 2 backup point guard role for the season?
Well, I think it's going to be very situational for him this year. Last year, we saw him really flourish in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think he's a very situational point guard in that I think we're going to see Noel, we're going to see Edwards, and we're going to see McLaughlin in that role. So if there's the time for like the crafty Muggsy Bogues, Spud Webb-esque short guy out there dribbling around, being crafty, we'll see him out there. But I think if you're in a position where you're counting on a player like that, then I think you might be in trouble.
He's gonna serve his purpose when we have to play the Golden State teams, or Portland teams, when you gotta deal with a scoring point guard like Lillard or Steph Curry, and you need somebody who has that energy and range that McLaughlin can be a nuisance, right, too. But yeah, I thought he played really well. I'm happy that he got the minutes. I think Jalen Noel played a lot, maybe as the ball handler instead of McLaughlin. I don't know if you noticed. Otherwise, it was Kyle Anderson for the most part. I think bringing the ball up when D'Lo wasn't in the game.
Yeah, I mean, we got so many options out there. It seems like at this point that that I think you don't really have to worry about it. I think we're gonna be really good, really deep. We got the 2 post players. We've got deep point guard rotation. Like, even if they're not, point guards in name, they're still guys who can bring the ball up the court. I think it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great year, and we're 1-0, undefeated, baby. What can you say to that? Next up, whoever it was, what, San Antonio? Oh,
San Antonio. It was
oh,
really one of the
Utah.
worst.
Utah's Friday
Utah,
night, Utah.
Utah, San Antonio, Oklahoma City. These are the worst rosters in the NBA right now. So if you get anything less than a W out of those teams, then you really got to be examining what it is that you're looking at. So these are teams that are not trying to win NBA basketball games right now. So you got to exploit that, Minnesota Timberwolves, and really refine what it is that you're working for, because this is really like this is the time to stack up the W's.
It is the time. The time is now. And Utah, would you really tell Jared Vanderbilt though that he's part of the worst team in the NBA? I mean, Jared, he played with so much heart last year. Do you think he comes to the Utah Jazz with that same heart as he did for the Minnesota Timberwolves?
Yeah, I mean, it will be really fun to watch that game because you've got Walker Kessler. Is that
Mm,
is that his name? The
hmm
guy that we drafted, and
Walker Kessler Ranger.
they shipped Pat Bev off, but
Yes,
you know they got the flotsam and the jetsam of the NBA right now. They shipped off Donovan Mitchell for a bunch of garbage. Well, they got Colin Sexton, they got Laurie Markkinen. Really, really, I mean, people laughed at the trade that the Timberwolves did with the Utah Jazz because of all the first round picks they gave up. Cleveland gave up one less first round pick for Donovan Mitchell, who is he going to be the next Russell Westbrook? We will see.
Would you rather have Donovan Mitchell or Anthony Edwards? I mean,
I
Anthony
mean, Anthony
Edwards,
Edwards, no doubt. I mean, in my mind, I mean, Donovan Mitchell is a great player. Like,
he is.
I mean, we should not discount the playoff performances that he has had in the past, but he's
But the
also
playoff
shown
performances he had in the past were because of Gobert, right? Because
he's a
Gobert
big
was a
player.
disruptive defensive presence that teams had to respect, which allowed Mitchell to not play defense as much as maybe an Anthony Edwards does play defense.
Yeah, in the case comparisons between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Minnesota Timberwolves will be very interesting this season because the Cleveland Cavaliers had a perfectly capable combo guard that they have as an all-star on their team, Darius Garland, and same thing with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, which is the better experiment? Having the all-star point guard that can move off the point guard position, or is it better to have the all-star center who's willing to move off of the center position really to the power forward position? It's going to be really interesting to see because in a lot of ways I could see those teams matching up really well. So I think it's going to be probably the Milwaukee Bucks coming out of the East this year, and probably not a team that's the Timberwolves. Unfortunately, this year, I'd love to see the Timberwolves and the Milwaukee Bucks matching up in the finals this year. I'm thinking that's maybe next
That would
year,
be
the year
crazy.
after that, and but Cleveland Cavaliers, same with them. It's not this year for them. It's probably a year after that or the year after that for them.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like the Bucks are their window isn't closing this year or next year. I think as long as Giannis is healthy, Chris Middleton is still going to be a huge part of that team, and they're too talented. And but in the West, the T Wolves, I can't say that they could be in the finals this year, but I want to see it there. And watching tonight and seeing the starting lineup and a deep bench, or having, I guess I shouldn't say I noticed this all from watching one game tonight. Uh,
This
just the
you know
second
it's from
half.
watching this game tonight, right?
Yeah, from watching the game tonight, just the second half, from quarter 3 and quarter 4, I think this team has all the possibility in the world.
There's a lot of potential there, and the funny thing about it is the players that you didn't see tonight. So we didn't, like we talked about. Nas Reed wasn't there,
Yeah.
and Bryn Forbes, we didn't see him. So there's still players.
Forbes got into the game for like 1 minute. But yeah, and did you see Rivers as well? I didn't see Rivers, but he might have gotten in the game too for
So
a
we got
minute or two.
we got a deeper bench than people like to give us credit for. So I think that I think it's going to be a good year. So
It is.
I
It
think we
is
got
gonna
a nice
be.
group coming our way. Top 5, 6 seed, no doubt. And let let's keep it towards the top because there's going to be a lot of teams that are also not trying that hard in the regular season. So you got that leeway to work with.
All right, great. Kevin, it was a great first game. I'm super pumped up for the season to begin. 1-0, baby, and we're gonna take it on next to the Utah Jazz and continue on. I love your smile. Look at him, ladies and
It's
gentlemen.
begun.
Oh
It's
my God.
begun.
Were you holding that pose the whole time because you were frozen and then you just said it's begun?
I was.
You were, you froze good. Kevin, let's do this. Just a teaser into our next video. And the next time we speak, I would like to. I did prepare a little discussion about. I'd like you to speak to your infatuation with Luca Garza.
Yeah. Well,
Next episode, don't give it
yeah.
all away. I
Yeah.
want you to. I want to know what your thoughts are on Luca Garza. I don't know if you saw him against the Lakers, his interaction with Floyd Mayweather, and how he. I imagine he told Floyd Mayweather you should have bet on him, like he should have placed a bet on Luca Garza to shoot three pointers and make them all, and then point to Mayweather and make weird faces at him during the game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised Luca Garza because we saw the starting lineup come out. He didn't even have his jersey on. He had his street clothes on.
Yeah.
So Nas Reed isn't making the game. I don't know. Luca Garza is pretty down the list, but I like that he's around, no doubt. I think that he's gonna have a positive impact on the team.
Well, he liked playing against the Lakers, and they're coming up on the schedule, so we'll touch on that next time, Kevin. Hey, I appreciate you joining me, man, and this was fun. Let's enjoy the next game, and I will talk to you soon.
Can't wait to do it.
Let's do it.
Good
Thanks,
easy.
everybody, for watching. If you liked the show, please join us. Leave a comment. Let me know how much you love the Wolves, and we will talk soon. It will be a fun season. Let's go, T Wolves! Woo!